What is good, guys? I hope everyone's keeping well. You may have seen the last YouTube video that I popped up there. You may have questioned, did he put that up on the right page? Obviously, I've been uploading onto the AKA method page over the course of the last while. But we are going to start adding more content onto this page again. I'm going to restart essentially what we're doing here, right? So why do I want to do that? Well, ultimately, to be honest with you guys, what I do want to do is start to reconnect a little bit better, okay? So I want to be able to put out some personal YouTube videos because I want to create that connection a little bit better. I want to create a little bit more content, more regular. If you go on the AKA method page, which I will still be adding some videos into, it's very much like, you know, really high quality content, videographer coming in, all that kind of jazz. And as I said, I will be adding to that again, but I want to be able to add some content on here to create that connection, ultimately bring you guys through my prep. Yeah, so where are we now with prep? We're 8.5 weeks out. So I think the YouTube video I uploaded, I was about 13 weeks out. Well, now it is 8. So why have I left the gap from 13 weeks to 8? Well, to be honest with you guys, I would have got the video back at about 11.5 weeks out, and then I uploaded it at 10 weeks out, I think. And then last week I made an attempt to make a YouTube video. It was probably actually okay, and then I started to get into my own head a little bit about it, and then was like, fuck this, I'm not uploading it. So this is, to be honest, take number 2 at 8.5 weeks out. So I'm now 78.5 kilos down, well, 78.4 down from a peak mass of 90 kilos. So I have dropped 11.5 kilos in 12 weeks. It's literally 12 weeks today, which is a nice return on investment, but there is a good bit to go. Okay, this is going to be my first show season. I have done a photo shoot before, so 2 photo shoots. I understand where, like, in and around what body weight it is that I get lean. Bear in mind, I've definitely had my best, most productive growing phase, you know, the last year and a half under Al. So, you know, there's potentially some room for that to be a little bit heavier than where I think in my head. But ultimately, given I am a natural bodybuilder, it's not going to be that much higher. So yeah, I know personally I've got 8 kilos to pull off in 8 weeks. Okay, stress with that in mind is there for sure, but I'm just going to keep doing exactly what I am told to do throughout the entire process. Today is a Wednesday. That means it's calves and arms day. My split right now is push on a Monday, which is shoulder focused, delt focused. Posterior on a Tuesday. No, that's not the video I put up on this page. The last video I put up on the AKA method page was with Adam, and that's taking you through that posterior session. Wednesday is calves and arms. Thursday is a rest day. Friday is upper, favorite session of the week. Actually, that's a lie, because my favorite session of the week is usually lower body on a Saturday, which is quad focus session, which is the one I took you through the last day. I'm really enjoying the back end of the week sessions at the minute. Upper is feeling really good. The reason I said it was my favorite there is because lower didn't feel that good the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been difficult as we've got deeper into prep for sure, but swings and roundabouts is what I always say. swings and roundabouts. Calves and arms today. It's now 6:30. I've got a posing lesson in 1 hour with my man Matt. Getting help with my posing with Matt from Natural Physiques, something like that. I'm sorry. But Matthew Chapman, he has made massive inroads in my posing, which was very terrible at the start. So the plan is, I got up at 5. I had my electrolytes, supplements. I had my coffee. I went and did. I'm up to 4K steps. Now I'm making my meals, one which is going to be pre-training, and I am making my meal for post-training as well. After that, I have 2 PTs. Then, so after my calves and arm session, I have 2 PTs. Then I've got a massage booked in with Aggie, who is coming down to the AKA. Aggie is someone who usually does all her work from Finglas, I want to say. But she's down in AKA for the day, and she is going to be butchering all of us in the gym. So it's a 2-hour session. Then straight after that session, I have to pop to Newbridge to pick out a rug. We're in a new apartment here, so it's been very busy in that regard. I'll bring you through the apartment later on. But then from Newbridge, I'm gonna have to come home and get a shower because I'll have cardio done and I'll be sweaty and I'll have trained and I'll have been butchered by Aggie. Before I head back to the gym for one more PT session this evening with my man Jack, who recently came on board. And then from there, it is going to be over to Hawkfield. Hawkfield is the Centre of Excellence for GAA. My brother is on the Kildare under-20s team, and they're playing Offaly tonight in the second round. So with that, he is actually injured, which is a bit of a ball ache. So he will not even be in the panel tonight. But the aim has been, since he done his hamstring, that he'll be back for the next game, or to play some part in the next game, and then hopefully play more as the year goes on. All going well, but it's going to be difficult to get back into that team now. Anyways, I'm sorry, I will talk about my brother and my sister until the cows come home. Ellie is going to have to, well, she said she will. She'll do me a solid in terms of my food for, the meals afterwards, which I'm very, very grateful for. And then I guess my biggest challenge today is going to be my steps, which is why it was important for me to get on the front foot with them. So the plan now is going to be to not have my pre here, but have it like literally right before I go in to see Matthew, because that will mean after our posing session, I'll be perfectly in a good position for digestion. Maybe not best for posing, but I'm on a tight schedule today. And then I will have my pre-workout shake before the session. Then I'll be training. I do have one small issue with my calves. So I woke up in the middle of the night on Monday night with severe calf pain. I was cramping, like really heavy. Usually a cramp, it comes and it goes. Well, yesterday, Tuesday, it didn't just go. It was there all day, and I was actually sore enough doing some steps. So I usually will never, venture off the track of what the session is. But there's potential I can't do one of the 2 muscle groups I am training today. So it might be that I need to call in extra reinforcements. I train some more laterals because, who could have 2 big lateral delts? we'll see. If the calves are going good, I will just do them. If not, that's my plan of action. So next clip you'll see from me is probably going to be me training. Okay guys, so we are ready to head off to the gym now. I'll just show you the meals that I have prepared. So what we have here, if I can get this right, cool. On the right we have our cream of rice, which is 50 grams of cream of rice. It is 40 grams of whey and 100 grams of blueberries. That cream of rice is by Conte. Yeah, Conte. Cream of rice, salted caramel. Genuinely one of the best that I have ever had. What else do we have? We have Conte's triple chocolate. And then we have some JP cream of rice, which is the chocolate hazelnut spread. And we've got the vanilla. I haven't been using them since I got the two Conte, to be fair, they're really good. Then just to look at our press, we have our whey, sticky toffee pudding is my favourite, another caramel biscuit up here. We've got some electrolytes in the form of Perform. We change them pretty regularly. My favourites are probably the supplement needs overall. We've got more electrolytes. We've got creatine, we've got omegas, we've got vitamin C, D3 and K2, curcumin for Ellie, we've got magnesium, we've got ashwagandha. I think there's more ashwagandha in here somewhere. We've got zinc, more zinc. We've got, there's the other ashwagandha. And then we've got Peak Max, which will be coming in probably on peak week. Other than that, I do have a lot of yohimbine in here that I am no longer using. So I will leave it here. Basically, I ran out of yohimbine. Yohimbine has a small marginal effect, positive effect on fat loss and potentially with any kind of like stubborn fat, but it's not massive, okay? And it is actually, you know, up there. It's kind of like a gray area in terms of does it even really help. Personally, I was finding a benefit, but basically I ran out. As I was waiting for some more to come, I realized, holy shit, I feel 10 million times better. So me and Al decided that basically what we were getting from that wasn't worth, it wasn't a cost, like the return on investment wasn't quite there. So we actually took it back out. My other meal, which I nearly forgot to go through, which was the point of this, is gonna be my which is gonna be 60 grams of oats, 40 grams of whey, 120 blueberry, and 15 peanut butter. We're using the peanut butter drizzle. If you are not, please start. I will give you guys a rundown on the entire apartment later on in the day, but I'll leave it here for now. What is good, guys? As you can see, the prep phase is coming through. I'm just going to talk you through my session now. So calves and arms, not a session that I've had in any meso before, in any split or anything like that, but one that is working. I've become a bit more limb dominant. My arms have come up a lot over with Al. It's probably the muscle group, to be honest with you, that has come up the most, which is nice, okay? I do remember like going to Vancouver 2 years ago to all my mates, and loads of them had bigger arms than me, and I was like, what the hell? But you know, just a volume thing. It's where you prioritize it. If you run push pull legs upper, you are or push pull legs, whatever it is, you leave arms to the end of the session, they're not going to grow that much. Anyway, standing calf raise first. I'll just continue to talk about calf raises in general, even though we move on to our next movement. Calf raises, the way I generally run them is all as lengthened partials, okay? So what does that mean? You go down into the full stretch and you come up to essentially where your heel is in line with the front of your foot. So you just come up to neutral. You don't go into the full contraction. Why am I doing that? There's actually loads of research on the calves in particular to show a benefit from that stretch position. There's a study comparing like full range of motion to partials where you're doing the bottom stretch and partials where you're doing the top part, like the contraction part. And the group that did just the bottom half outperformed the group that did full range in terms of muscle growth. So you will see me do a lot of and they outperformed it well. I think it was like double the growth and like 4 times the growth or something like that of the group that did the top half partial. So I'm a big fan of them. There's more research on it in terms of like, just stretching your calf and the growth that can come through there. So we have standing double leg first. I'm supposed to do the seated version on the leg press as a single leg variation, but it feels terrible for me and I'm happy to just get the volume in, so I do go double leg with them. Never feels good in and around the knee. Then we're on to the arm portion of the session. We have this modified JM press, which I think Alan said in a YouTube video before that he actually made it, like as in wasn't happy with the way the machine was running, took the arms apart and made it himself. But this is actually quite nice. I have a back pad behind my back here as well, just so I can get a bit more stretch. I think the range is a little bit limited. And then I've just got the fat grips on here because honestly, Alan, you could have put nicer grips on it or something, but no, I don't really like the handles on it. They're not that nice to kind of hold and push into. So yeah, that is what I'm doing there and progressing with, so which is pretty good. Then we're basically swapping over between tricep biceps a lot in this session. So we've a dumbbell incline curl coming down, to a fully straightened elbow at the bottom. A lot of people miss out on that, guys. And ultimately all that does, like, that's where the value of this exercise is. I mean, I could possibly not come up even as high as I do and still get maybe as much out of it. Come up to like a 90-degree elbow bend, like a little bit lower than where I am coming. And yeah, so like just make sure if you're doing the dumbbell incline curl that you're getting to that fully stretched position at the bottom, because I'd say that bottom half is realistically the most stimulating here. Nothing wrong with the top half, but just don't come up to like rest it on your shoulders, which is something I corrected a client on yesterday. Then we have hammer curls. This is the only hammer curl variation that I really like. I tend to find myself flinging stuff around after a few weeks of, going, right, let's go steady on these. Let's, hone in on our execution. I just end up starting throwing them around again to progress numbers. Placing yourself against this bench here is going to limit that. So it's quite nice. Gets really heavy in the shortened position. I'm not against stuff that gets, harder in the shortened position. I think I would have a bias toward shit that gets heavier in the lengthened, but that doesn't mean that you are always going to be, just that way essentially. So yeah, and I've no harm in taking a few extra reps here. Guys, it's a calves and arms session. Get over yourself. Then we have our second tricep movement of the day. So I've 6 sets of biceps done, 5 sets of calves and 3 sets of triceps up until here. And then we're on the Panada tricep extension machine here, which is really nice. The connection on this is excellent. So we have, something whereby we're here and pushing out, and then we essentially have a push down to get full tricep work in. So something where your shoulder is a little bit more flexed, and then we can get more stretch, and then something where we're focusing a little bit more on that shortened position. I am wrestling a little bit there toward the end, but honestly, it's because of my shoulder and my trap. I just feel like it loses function, possibly taking it a little bit too far there, but be all right. Then we have our standing cable curl facing the stack. Up next, I really like this exercise. I connect super well, especially on the Nautilus here, whereby you can change how wide them arms are ultimately going to be. Yeah, really like this. Connect super well. It's a nice way to finish off the session. So this is a really nice session
because essentially what it does is it's after 2 hard enough sessions. So a good push session, posterior, which is super demanding, super challenging, takes a lot out of you, and then it's like, here's your little treat after that. So especially as prep has gone on, I've come to appreciate that one a little bit more. So that is the session. It was super productive, and we got wins for the most part across the board, which I'll take at this point of prep.
What is going on, people? I hope everyone is good. So we are just leaving the gym. It is 3:30. So to run you through, since I was last speaking to you, we headed to the gym this morning, had a great posing lesson with Matthew Chapman, Butcher Natural Physique on Instagram. And yeah, it was actually really good. So he's really happy with like essentially all of my posing now. Like I have to work on some things, of course, but like the difference from when I started is night and day, and it's just showing off my physique so much better. And as I get leaner, of course, that is becoming even more evident with some of the things that he is saying to me. For example, so with my front poses, the way I was posing was largely with my lower body. I was a little bit like too straight with my legs, like contracting my legs, trying to show off like the muscularity. And he has been trying to get me to like have my feet a little bit wider, driving out my knees, to bring true to shape, because obviously what I'm looking for is to show off a nice X frame. And I, you know, for a natural, especially for a first timer, I do have decent enough quads. Okay, so decent enough quads, decent lats, decent delts. That obviously is largely what will make up the X frame, and just showing that off to the best of my ability. So I'm so happy that I did get in touch with him. It's been, as much as it's been helping with me, it's actually helping not just showcase my physique, but it obviously has that, you know, knock-on effect whereby I'm going to be able to help more people with their posing. Not that posing is something that I'll be looking to like get into. I'm still a newbie in that regard. I'm still learning. But in terms of like helping out clients just pose better, whether it's you know, someone doing a photo shoot, someone doing a bodybuilding competition themselves, or just, you know, someone looking to showcase their best physique with their pictures and their progress. So that was pretty cool. So that was from 7:30 to 8:30 or 8:15. Actually went on a bit longer. It was nearly 8:30 because I had a few questions for him about my posing routine. Then I had my pre-workout shake. That was what did I have? Oh, I had 1 scoop of Do Not Fucking Miss trained by JP. I am between 1 and 2 scoops depending on the session. Today's calves and arms. I'm just looking for that caffeine boost. So I think it's 200 milligrams of caffeine in a 1 scooper. I'll take 2 scoops for my bigger, more arduous sessions. And depending on how I'm feeling, like if it's push or whatever, I might take 1 scoop. Session itself was pretty good. I'll have a voiceover on the screen of that session, either before this or after this. I haven't gone too much into the planning. I actually just decided last night I was gonna vlog the day. I was like, I need to do this again. Get in the middle of the lane. So the session was good, productive. I'm happy with it. It's one of them sessions where I wouldn't have made a calves and arm session myself, but I can see the value of it now. And the good thing was I got to train calves. Now, after that, I had PTs, and then at 12 we had Aggie mainly working on my traps. My traps, in her words, are like bricks. So that was fun. I have some issues with my left shoulder. I've had issues with my left shoulder for years, and I've never felt like the function is up to scratch with the right. But interestingly enough, she said both sides are like bricks. And I was kind of asking her, you know, why would one side be feeling it, the other side feels great, and she didn't really know. And I'm happy that she didn't try to give me some bullshit answer. Aggie's a proper professional. She's exceptional at her job. You know, really well educated and really good practitioner. Knows what you need at different phases of bodybuilding prep as well, which is important. And yeah, so she did a lot of work there. And then I was just telling her about my calf, the issues that I had there. Like in my session today, I wasn't going as hard as I could. My numbers were down a little bit in calves, but I was happy enough to get through some work. Kept the same load, a few less reps, just actually didn't feel like I could do any more. But yeah, she had a look at it and she reckons there's definitely a strain in it. She was just saying like it was really hard at a spot, and she was kind of like talking through, was there a specific instance where it happened? And I was like, no. The reality is it's probably a build-up of that calf session, you know, that I have here. I do be quite sore after. Then I have also had an increase in output through steps. Steps are up to 13k, and on top of that, obviously I'm on the cross trainer. And one thing I did notice with that was that I was on the balls of my feet quite a lot. Obviously when I'm doing the cross trainer, I'm not thinking all of the time, you know, about what I'm doing. But when I do think about it, I remember to be less on the balls of my feet and more so like, you know, trying to keep a full foot on it, so putting a little bit more heel pressure through it, because I could feel my calves working quite a bit. So anyways, it's probably the repetitive strain of all of that kind of piling up on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. And that was what I thought before going in, and that's kind of what she was suggesting too. Either side of that, so after my session before PT, I did 20 minutes of cardio then, and then after Aggie I did another 25 minutes. I didn't want to go in too sweaty to her, but also I didn't have the time, so it made sense. 20 minutes before, 25 after. Depending on my day, I'll do it all in one burst after training or after PTs later in the day, whatever makes sense. And yeah, that's what I did. Then after that, I actually headed over to Newbridge to do a little bit of shopping with Ellie. Ellie's off work for a week, so we headed over there. I got a new rug for my office. My office is coming together. When it's fully together, that is when I'll give you the detailed tour of our new apartment. And now, so I went over with Ellie. Ellie drove because I ate my food in the car. So I've had 3 meals today, pre, post, the ones you saw, and then chicken, eggs, and broccoli. So my meal one every day is just eggs now. The bagels are gone. They went from bagels to bagel tins. No, did they? No, it was always a bagel tin, I think, actually. When I was massing, it was 2 bagels, but then it went to a bagel tin, and now it went to no bagels. Or bagel tins at all. So I just throw the eggs in on top of the chicken meal. Like, I can't be arsed having 3 eggs. I feel like I wouldn't have felt like I was having anything. So I'm having 5 meals per day instead of 6 because it's a little bit nicer. But yeah, that's what I've done so far. Now I have to go home and have a shower and go back to the gym for more PT. But between that, I will have my oatmeal. So I have 50 oats, 40 whey, 60 blueberries, 60 strawberries, which is a nice meal. Carbs in 3 meals, no carbs in 3 meals, but essentially 2 meals because I put 2 together. And yeah, that's the way we'll be running things, at least for now. I imagine the next adjustment is Alan's going to take the oats out of the oats meal or whatever, and then it will be carbs in pre and post when needed. But I just do whatever I'm told, and That's actually something that me and Jack were talking about. This is what I'll round this up on, is, you know, just being in athlete mode. Like, there's so many people that you can be talking to and telling you that you're doing great, you look great or whatever. The reality is, guys, that the only person you should really listen to is you and your coach, okay? So you and your coach are the only, well, not even you, just your coach. They're there for a reason, you know, you have them there for a good reason, and that reason is to guide and direct your process. So listen to your coach, you have them there for a reason. The great thing is I have 1000% trust in Alan. You know, he's obviously proven himself super well. So the only person I'm going to listen to throughout this is Alan. But yeah, I think, and the other side of that is, like, I'm also, this is actually what me and Jack were talking about, was like not listening to ourselves too much. Like, we're both in a position where we're going to be pushing for conditioning, but you know, ultimately that inner voice that you're not going to be ready, this, that and the other, is something that you can put all of the pressure or stress that is with that, which I do deal with, and I'm trying not to let get to me, but ultimately I try my best to let that fall on Alan, okay? Because I trust him, I trust his methods, and I trust that I'm going to be in condition with him, okay? So as much as I have these thoughts in my head, I'm like, right, well, you know, before prep started, would you say Alan will get you there? Yes. Are you doing absolutely everything that he is saying? Yes. Well then, so long as that remains the case, there can only be one outcome, really. So, and it's my first time, so like putting too much into what I feel and what I think right now, you know, that's, because I'm obviously in it now, I've got prep brain. But that's a silly position to ultimately hold. So, anyways, I'm just back at the apartment. I'm not sure when I'll be talking to you next. I hope you enjoyed my TED Talk. Thank you and good night. Okay guys, I hope everyone's keeping well. It is now Thursday, the 2nd of April. So it's the day after all of the content you've seen up until now. It is a rest day. So it's 20 to 7 in the evening. I've had a busy ass day. It started off with 6 a.m. PT. Then I had 7 a.m. PT. Then I had meal 1. I did, I've cardio on a rest day as well. So that is at 45 minutes, 7 days a week. So before I do my cardio, I do 6 sets of abs, which are, one's a hanging knee raise and the other is a machine ab curl. So 3 sets of each. I did a bit of posing and then I was doing my cardio, right? So since then I came home, I had my check-ins to box off, had meals 2 and 3 around the check-ins, and then I was back to the gym for more PTs today. We had Matthews in for legs and that was an absolute banger, So Matthews is someone that I took through a photo shoot last year. He does have aspirations of getting on stage. It's just about timing for him. He had a few things this year that meant, you know, he personally wasn't in a position where he could go through the process. And, you know, the stage is always going to be there. So, you know, no pressure. When the time is right, when he's ready for that. Lads, I just had my first Ninja Creamy of prep. So I've been waiting on Alan to, you know, put it in to the plan for a while. He's been like, no, we're cool, hold off, you're going to be able to eat these meals, blah, blah, blah. And today I was like, my cream of rice has got so low in my meal that I was just like, I'm actually just going to make this cream of rice. I don't care, or Ninja, I don't care if it doesn't taste that good. So it was literally just 50 grams of cream of rice, 30 grams of whey, and 100 grams of blueberries. And it was really good. So I think I'm actually going to run that forward, going forward. It was good.
What I'm going to show you now is the office. So the office is actually ready. Is it ready? Is 100%? It's about 100%. It's nearly 100%. So the last thing I need to do is sort out the lighting system. So I'm getting a bit of help with that. I actually have put a lot of effort in here and I want it to be perfect. Right, so let's have a look in here. Let's have a look what we have got going on. So we've got our standing desk. I've got the buttons here. It's actually not plugged in, but anyways, you press up and down to bring it up and down, but it goes up super high, which is really nice for me because I've got my walking pad here. Okay, so the walking pad is there. I do need to sort out the wires. They're giving me a lot of issues at the minute, but yeah, we've got our standing desk, goes up super high, really nice. One thing I like about it is it's got this kind of like black finish to it here, and my mouse can just go on that, so I don't need to get a mat for under that. Laptop, monitor, you know, all the good stuff. Microphone, might get a new microphone, so if anyone has any recommendations, I'd like a Bluetooth one because I just want less wires. Obviously, as I said, we've got the walking pad going on down here, a few plugs, a few bits going on. Now this is my new baby. This is, we got the rug too. We got that yesterday. Very cozy, very, very cozy. But over here, my new desk chair. So, I really like this. I didn't know at the time, guys, but this has a massage system thingy in it. Okay, so if I ever just want to get a massage, just have to plug it in. There's a wire around here, plug it in, and yeah, we get the massage going on here. I can flick out if I can leave this here for a minute, I can bring this out, flick it around, and lie right back. So watch this. This is sick now. This is sick. Oh, wait. And then just get a massage. How sick is that? So, very good decision to get this one. Usually when I make decisions where I haven't looked into them deeply to make my mind up, there's always something wrong with them. But this time I actually made good decisions. So that standing desk, Harvey Norman, I think it was only like 150 quid, which is good for a standing desk. I was on to a client yesterday in the gym and he had one for 250 and he was like, mine's not as big as that, doesn't look as nice. So super happy. Now otherwise, what else have we got? I've got my cross trainer in behind here, so that's, I don't even actually like using it, to be honest with you. I like to do my cardio in the gym because it just means that when I come back here I'm not doing any of that sort of work. And then we've got Joe English over here. Okay, look at Joe with his cap on him. I've actually been looking for that cap and now I realise that's where it is. So yeah, that is what we got going on in here, guys. We've got some of my shoes in here. Not a great bunch, but they're all right. Where are the rest? The rest are in the bedroom where we've another one of these holders. Otherwise, over here we have some books that I sometimes will read, but I brought these over from the house. The rest got actually thrown out, but these are the things that I still think are valuable. We still have stuff from college. There's some stuff that I have from college, from uni, that I still use to this day in terms of if I have a client with a certain issue that I want to run through. Generally, like the pathophysiology stuff is what I will look back on. The stuff that at the time I didn't actually think was that useful, but it's actually come to be very, very useful. So that is my office, guys. I'm very happy. I do need help with lighting. I'm going to be chatting to Jack from the AKA Method, ProView Productions. He's going to give me a hand. But yeah, I think it's coming along well. I find lighting to be so important for, even when I'm doing these videos, but you know, for my content, my check-ins with clients and all, I like the small screen on Loom even looking good. So I want that to be right. And otherwise, in here, we just have our wardrobes. So in there, we got our wardrobes. Life is good. This apartment has come together really nicely. I am going to, for the most part, leave this video here. What I'm going to add on after this is post upper visuals from tomorrow. So we'll end with some post upper visuals tomorrow. But that's it from me. Thank you. I'll chat to you soon. Good, guys. I'm now going to take you through my physique shots, right? So since I've last been speaking to you, we have gone through the gears yet again, okay? I'm coming in at 77.2 kilos right now. And what you're seeing now is Monday check-in shots, okay? So with my physique, we have made the call to yet again make another adjustment, push on, because it's needed. Despite the fact that scale readings are coming down really well, the visuals are getting better, I have got, you know, the guts of 8 weeks now to come in, okay? And I have a lot of body fat to pull off. Like, you know, I'll hear people in the gym talking to me and they're going to be like, mate, you look really good, you look lean. And yeah, I've no doubt that, like, relative to, you know, everyday gym goers, whatever, you know, I probably do look lean, but when you're on stage, there is a difference, okay? When you're doing a photo shoot, there's a difference. I'd say I'm holiday lean at the minute. You know, I'd be happy enough to head away on a holiday like this. Anyways, so front relaxed. Where are we? Quite bubbly through the delts. Quite happy with that. Chest is still nice and full. Quads are inflamed. Quads are heavily inflamed. So when I said we made an adjustment, our cardio is now up to 1 hour each and every motherfucking day. Arms are looking full. I'm happy with this shot, okay? I am overall happy with how I'm posing it. Everything looks good here. Lower abdomen area, we've got a lot of body fat to pull off, okay? You can see that again here when I turn to my side relaxed. Again, lads, how I am posing this relative to how I did is night and day. I'm very happy with this in terms of my posing. I'm sure anyone who is good at posing can, you know, pick it apart. But honestly, relative to how I was, this is night and day. I might even throw up an example of what it did look like. But again, you can see some striations on the far chest. Abs are coming in, obliques are coming in. I have a pocket of body fat on my lower abdomen that I have never gotten rid of, okay? And now we have the guts of 8 weeks to try and do that. Glutes don't look so good from this side. Yeah, what else can I say there? Now you'll see where my body fat is. I have a lot of body fat on my glutes. My hamstrings are not through very well. Lower back, that's where I'm holding. Okay, that's what, in Alan's words, we have to bully off now. Again, you can start to see something there on the glutes, but we got to give it time. I'm very much looking forward to bringing up my posterior chain after this year, guys. Obviously, I was in a car crash last year, broke my hip, haven't been able to hinge. I look forward to hopefully being in a position where I can add them things back in and really cement my physique. I just have this shot up here because I like the fact that my striations are coming through my chest. This is just part of a transition. Worst shot by far, front double bicep. Okay, just can't hit it. Anyone with any recommendations, please help me out. When I do my posing with Matt, I seem to get better. And honestly, this is the best of a bad bunch. Okay, so can't get my lats around. Yes, body fat coming off is going to help. Yes, getting bigger lats in the off season is going to help. But I feel like I could pose this better. And when you see my lats here, I start to believe that's the case very much. So yeah, I really like this shot. Chest full, delts full, arms full. I feel like I'm making the most of my physique, which for some of you might be that much, but I am relatively pleased with how I'm hitting this. Okay? think that's fair to say. Side chest, glutes starting to do something. Could be pushing into that hamstring a little bit better with the back knee to get more separation there. But overall, chest full, abs are coming through, all is good. This shot has went from being an absolutely horrendous shot of mine to much better, and that's all down to Matt. So yeah, again, little pouch at the bottom, very cute. Needs to fuck off. Again, upper body looks good. Glutes and hamstrings, we gotta pull. Bully it. That is the word. But at least I'm seeing something from my hamstrings now, okay? Yeah. I don't know if my glutes have ever been through before, because ultimately, when I was doing photo shoots or whatever, I wore jocks in my check-in shots, so that'll be fun to see. Again, pouch is taken away from this, but otherwise, things are looking pretty damn good. Happy enough. Again, I've seen my legs look better in this shot, but they are very heavy right now. And, you know, it's a case of, do you back off for that to, you know, come true, or and risk not getting in stage condition, or do you push on? And I think the big thing there is like your starting position, potentially. Well, definitely, you know, I want my starting position for prep to be better next time, so I don't have to push as hard as I'm going to have to. But I'm in it now, and I have to work my way through it. Most muscular, a good shot of mine. Chest delts, arms looking good. Seen some vascularity come through, which not that it really matters, but I like it. Abs look good. Get the hide me pouch here. And legs are all right, but again, they're not fresh. So that is where we are, guys. I will be back next week. I'm gonna keep on top of the videos. I hope you guys follow along. Again, this video hasn't been particularly like, you know, I haven't been planning this video, let's say. And I don't think I will. I think I'll just take you through days of my life, and maybe if there's a bit I can plan here and there, coolaboola. But you'll probably just hear me like shit talking. I'm talking a little slower. I did notice that. I was watching back on some of the video, but look, it's part of it. I'm in the hurt locker now, so I'm gonna be real with you guys. You know, this is challenging, but I'll tell you what, it's not as challenging as is my accident last year, which meant I could not prep. Okay, what's hard now is simply, you know, the stuff that's not even hard. Like, you know, everything that I have to do is simple, straightforward. This is the hard that I would prefer to choose to do, as opposed to, you know, anything like what happened before, touch wood, or the hard of not being in condition and ultimately coming up short. So I do hold this very dear to myself, guys. This is so important for me this year, for so many reasons. But I tell you one thing, I am going to give this my all over the next 8 weeks, and I hope you follow along. Okay, thank you very much for watching episode number 2. And yeah, I'll be in front of the camera, guys. Thank you.